Okay, so this is 14.2.2.4. I just got it last night. Car's cleaned up, cameras are clean. So let's just see how it performs compared to the previous version. I don't really anticipate anything changing too much. I think these are just very small iterative changes, between versions right now. They're probably cleaning up some code, so I don't really anticipate a huge change right now. A lot of people were saying that they had issues with 14.2.2.3, like as far as regression, and I don't know, I think they were talking about lane hesitancy. I kind of saw it when it turns left, but other than that, I didn't have any issues with that version of FSD either. So it's 5 o'clock. People are getting off work. So this should be a good time to test FSD just because traffic density is higher than, normal. Kind of curious why it went this way. It could have gone straight, but it's whatever. Tesla has its own navigation, or FSD at least has its own mind in how it wants to do things. It's not always optimal. See, like for some reason it's doing a U-turn. It really didn't need to do that. Like go all the way back around, and it's whatever. You lose some time, but it's nothing that needs like critical intervention unless you're in a hurry. And then you could just stop it and set a new path or whatever. But if you're not in a hurry, which I'm not right now, just let it do its thing and see what it does. Oh, no wonder. I put in the I put in the wrong thing for navigation. That's why it turned around. That's my fault actually, not the car's. Okay, so that was my bad. Let me. Here we go. See, human error. It wasn't even FSD. I was sitting there criticizing it, saying why is it doing a U-turn? But that was my fault. I just picked the wrong address. So. Which is kind of good in a way because now we're coming across a bunch of traffic here. A lot of people getting off of work. It's in Mad Max mode as well, so that's pretty much what I stay in all the time now. I don't really test out like hurry and standard or chill or sloth or any of those other modes. I just don't really find them useful. Like I know a lot of people in other states, they kind of need to try the slower modes, I guess, because they get tickets and everything. But out here, especially here in the valley in California, I don't know. I mean, you could go like 10 or 20 over the speed limit. Nobody gives a shit. Sometimes you'll get caught and get a ticket, but I haven't in the last like 20 years, so take that for what you will. So we're approaching a roundabout. It's never had issues with the roundabouts ever since version 14, so I don't anticipate any issues here right now. The only thing I don't like when it takes roundabouts is it signals, and I think it ends up confusing the people around you, especially somebody behind you. Like, well, it's going to continue straight, so it might like signal right when it goes straight for some reason. Let's see if it does. Yeah, there you go, see? It's signaling right. It's kind of weird that it does that. So, new Tesla news: the Model S and Model X are being discontinued, and I guess in their place, Tesla is going to start making Optimus robots, which is, I don't know, kind of a joke based on what I've seen of the robot. I mean, the last thing I saw was they were at some kind of party and the guy took his headset off and the robot fell backwards. So, unless they made a gigantic leap between then and now, to where, you know, the robots are independent and they can do their own thing, I guess they're going to put AI 5 inside of those robots, or the Gen 3s. I don't know. I mean, I think Tesla should have spun off Optimus as its own company rather than being part of Tesla, because it took away focus from the car company, you know? And now with Model S and X gone, well, you're only left with the Cybertruck or the Cyber Meme, which I'm surprised wasn't discontinued because it's a piece of shit. Model Y and 3. And then you've got the Cybercab, but that's not a real car. You know, I mean, I don't know. I think Tesla's making a huge bet on robotaxis and robots. But the thing is, they've got huge competition in the market, you know, probably worse than automotive, from the Chinese and then Boston Dynamics and a bunch of others that are ahead of Tesla. So, I mean, whether Tesla can make an impact, I guess if it goes industrial with these robots, but they're saying that they want to be consumer focused. So I don't know how that's going to work out for them. If they made like industrial robots, you know, for production and warehouses and that sort of thing, but then a humanoid form factor is not optimal for that kind of work, right? Like, you'd want something different. But that's the direction they're heading. So I don't know. We'll see how it works out for Tesla. I'm kind of worried about the future of this company as an automotive company, especially being a recent owner. You know, I was thinking maybe like in 2027, 2028, I'd get another Model 3 Performance. But if the company is just not taking cars seriously anymore, and I don't really see myself sticking around as a Tesla customer for that reason. And plus, I don't agree with Elon's politics. See, you know, there's a lot of people that have called him out on it recently too. So I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and it kind of doesn't want you to be a repeat customer or even a first-time customer. But that aside, Elon aside, it's a gamble that Tesla's taking. I mean, their stock is pretty pumped up too. It's in the 400s. So yeah, if this doesn't work out for them, all those Tesla holders are going to be hurting in the next couple of years. But we'll see. I don't own stocks, period. So I have no dog in the fight. Also, a new Knight Rider movie has been announced. The guys that made Cobra Kai, you know, the remake of the hell's Karate Kid. So those same guys are gonna try to bring, you know, Knight Rider back as a movie instead of a TV show. I think a Tesla Roadster, like the unreleased one that they're working on, if they collaborated with Tesla and made that the new kit, I think it'd be pretty badass. I know there's a lot of, like, you know, old heads that, you know, want to see a Trans Am or something back, but dude, nobody gives a shit about Trans Ams in this day and age, you know, or Pontiac, or, I mean, you know, whatever. You know, like, nobody wants to see a 1980s car back on the road. And I mean, the hardcore fans maybe do, but I think these new movies are targeting Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and they couldn't care less, you know, about the old show. So that's why I think Tesla, you know, with their FSD and Grok integration, they are the closest thing to KITT and Knight Rider. So I think it'd be awesome to see a Tesla Roadster as a new kit, especially like a black version with a, you know, the little red scanner in the front. And because the 2008 version had a Ford Mustang GT500, but that was kind of cheesy because they made it into like a transformer, and Ford sucks anyway, right? Like, Ford's a piece of shit. I mean, the GT500 is not a decent car, but I've never been a fan of Ford. But anyhow, I mean, a futuristic car like KITT, it should be an EV, an advanced EV, you know, because that car is all about stealth, right? When it goes on mission, so why would you want a gas car? Even I think the 1980s version, It's supposed to be some kind of jet engine or something in the car. So they always wanted like something stealthy and powerful, and that EV just fits the bill, in my opinion. But so far, lane changes are good with 14.2.2.4. I'll comment on it if I see something that really sticks out. There's no point in me narrating everything. Like, oh, it's about to make a left turn. Oh, it's about to make a right turn. Like, you guys don't want to hear that. So I'll probably stay quiet unless I see something noteworthy. Right now, it's doing fine. Nice acceleration to get ahead of this car. See, people say, well, you know, if you're using FSD all the time, there's no point in getting a Model 3 Performance. You might as well get the base model because you're not using the performance, but that's not true. Like, just right there, right now, when we made the lane change, right, the car used up the power to get ahead of that other one. And I mean, it actually threw me back in my seat. So it does take advantage of the power. I mean, not to the extent that a human driver would, but it does use it. Now, I don't think you should have made a lane change right there. I mean, right here, unnecessarily lane changes because of Mad Max. It's just, it's doing its best to weave through traffic and be an asshole and get ahead of everybody. And these people around me probably think I'm some asshole, you know, like a BMW driver, even though I'm in a Tesla. Maybe they used BMW as a foundation for Mad Max or BMW drivers. The distance that we're following right now, it's not too bad. It's about a car and a half. Speed limit's 55, it's doing 59. I do have a +2 relative in the menu, so it is following that. It kind of felt like it was about to take a turn, like into the next lane over, but it didn't. I guess there's a car to my right, so it chose not to. It's a nice day today. I know the East Coast is getting hit with like blizzards and snowstorms, but over here in California, it's like 60 degrees. Pleasant. It's nice and pleasant. The car's a little bit close to the sidewalk. Like, see this Model Y in front of me? That's where I would have been if I was driving. This car is like a little bit too far over to the right. You can see that on the screen too. I mean, I guess it looks okay on the screen, but in person I would have been more over to the left. Is it going to understand this? Let's see. You got to stop and go. Let's see if it picks up on this. Is it going to try to follow the Model Y or stop? No, it stopped. Okay. Let's see if it goes green on this guy's green. No, it didn't. Smart. It went on ours. Wow. I actually did not expect that. This is the first time I've ever seen FSD go through this kind of light or, you know, merger. So that's interesting. God, this guy's going so fucking slow. Bro, you're getting on the highway, dude. Speed up. Holy shit. Who merges onto the highway at 30 miles an hour? Yeah, slow down, Mad Max. Don't get me in an accident now. Oh, that's scary. Jesus Christ. And we're doing 77 miles an hour in dense traffic. Hey, look, another Model 3 Highland. These big rigs are the bane of my existence. They're always kicking up rocks. I try to avoid them as best. When I'm driving like manually, I stay far away from them. I actually had one of them hit my window and chip it before. Fortunately, it wasn't bad enough to where I needed to replace the windshield. I just got it repaired by a Tesla. So it's heavy traffic right now. Everybody's going home from work, so. And it's getting dark. So I guess what better way to test FSD, I guess. It's not comparable to the snowstorms and everything, but speaking of the snowstorms, people have been posting up photos saying that, it's funny that Tesla's now adding washers to their cars. I mean, they're not officially in production yet, but they have them for their cabs. Like, that's common sense. Why didn't they implement that from the very first time they had vision-based cameras? That's the first thing. It should have always been part of the cars, right? But now, like, the Tesla engineers suddenly had an epiphany and realized, oh, you know what? Maybe we ought to add washers to our cars and keep the cameras clean. What a concept. And of course, everybody that purchased a Tesla, everybody on the consumer side is now outdated because they don't have washers. There's a lot of people in the snowstorms that have been posting photos where they'll go out on a drive and within 10 minutes their rear camera is completely iced up. So they got to get out of the car and then they got to wipe it down and, but if they had a washer, it wouldn't have been an issue. Or even heaters in the rear camera. I don't think it has a rear heater. I know the side ones do, the front one has a heater. I don't think the rear one does. But a washer is needed, and they didn't have that. And then, of course, me being a 2025 owner, I got fucked because not only do I not have hardware 4.5, I mean, we don't know what the difference is going to be yet, but the speculation is that it's going to have a redundant SoC on the board, so they can comply for autonomy level 4 autonomy rules. And it'll add probably maybe more memory and bandwidth. Who knows? It remains to be seen. But more than that, I don't have a front bumper camera. 2 months after, I think 2 or 3 months after I bought this car, they introduced the Model 3s with black badges and front bumper cameras. So I got fucked there. And now, like, there's some Model Y performance guys, the 2026 one, they purchased Model Y performances, and some of them have the hardware 4.5, and the other ones don't have it. They have the hardware 4. I don't know what Tesla's doing. They're like, I'm not going to go here. The destination was supposed to be Chick-fil-A, but I don't have any need to eat here today. But, the point is, they're just all over the place. Like, it's fine to, have revisions, but at least, especially if we just barely bought the car, come on, like, do the right thing by your consumer and your customers and offer upgrades, for free. We shouldn't have to pay for it, but you should still, regardless, have a retrofit and say, okay, well, you guys missed out on that, and you guys are so close within the buying window, let's just give it to you guys. And if you're outside of that buying window, but you have a compatible hardware, then you should have to pay a small fee, not a substantial one, a small fee, to update your car. That's just the right way to treat your customers, I think. But what do I know? All right, I'm going to end. So we had 0 issues. I think Mad Max did extremely well on the highway. I think 14.2.2.4 did better on the highway than 14.2.2.3 did. So I saw improvements right there. The lane changes were aggressive as expected. It did really well. I am pleased. I'm going to set a destination for charging. We'll set it for this one. This is the one that I always go to. Okay, go ahead and start self-driving. All right, so it took the highway this time again. I think in 14.2.2.2 it didn't take the highway. This time it did, which is good. And 14.2.2.3 it also took it, so it's staying consistent. Okay, it says slow down 55 work zone. And we're hitting like 76 right next to a barrier. I don't know how I feel about that. Whoa, it's going extremely fucking fast. Wow. I got these cars merging right here. I mean, I let it do its thing, but I'm getting a little nervous. Not gonna lie. Wow, that was, I mean, it did it. I wouldn't have done that. I definitely would not have gone that fast. But the car chose to. And that's like right next to a barrier. You guys saw that. That was insane. If it was me driving, I probably would have hit that barrier at 50 like the speed limit suggested, you know, because of the work. But this thing's like, fuck speed limits. I'm gonna hit 76 on that turn on a narrow barrier. Okay. I mean, it is Mad Max, so it's crazy. Oh, there we go. It finally alerted me. I guess it's getting darker. So the nag is definitely a lot less than any other version that I've had. I mean, I'm sitting here like texting, and it finally nagged me to pay attention, probably because it got darker. And you know, so it's like, okay, you need to pay attention a little bit. But overall, not bad. I gotta say, I don't really have complaints about this, but again, based on what we've done, I haven't seen unprotected lefts yet. Whoa. This thing takes some crazy turns. Like that. What the fuck? I think Mad Max needs to be a little bit more realistic about when it does lane changes. Like, it sees that, okay, it wants to get over, but there's cars blocking it, so it shouldn't get over, then get right back over again. You know, it's just dangerous. I mean, I'm sure it knows because it's got 8 cameras, so it can see a lot better than I can, but, you know, it can confuse other drivers around you when you're doing that sort of thing. But I mean, it did it fine. You know, we crossed over, we're taking the exit just fine, so it's doing its job. Definitely better than any other car manufacturer can. There's really nothing on the market that can compete against FSD right now. But I feel like FSD could have been a lot more consistent and less fragmented, and so much better had Tesla had the foresight to make their electrical system, their cooling system, everything more robust and forward-looking. Like, they should have anticipated, hey, you know, we'll probably have hardware versions down the line that'll be more power hungry, so let's add an electrical system in these cars that are, you know, capable of taking upgrades later on down the road if customers choose to do so. But I think economically, if they would have done that, maybe adding in more powerful electrical systems than they needed at the time would have been more costly for the car. But how much more? You know, like a couple thousand? I think most people would have paid that if they knew that these cars are modular and they could be upgraded. You know, then you'd have less fragmentation because people would probably opt for upgrades. So we're at 50% battery. Wow, this is busy right now, so there's a couple stalls that are available, I guess. It says 3C and 3D are not working right now. I'll just charge at home. I really don't like charging here. This fucking asshole. Look how fast that car's coming.